In modern-day Lebanon, the ruins of the Jupiter Sanctuary and the Great Court at Baalbek sprawl across a landscape that has defined our understanding of ancient power for centuries. The established history identifies this as Heliopolis, a monumental site built by the Roman Empire, beginning in the 1st century BCE. The 6 remaining Corinthian columns of the Temple of Jupiter demonstrate the scale of this project, establishing it among the largest temples ever constructed in antiquity. Historians typically credit Roman willpower and organization for achieving a construction of this magnitude. The overwhelming presence of these ruins often leads us to accept Roman engineering as the sole source of the site, leaving the massive stone foundations entirely unquestioned. A recent UNESCO-funded project fired millions of laser pulses at the complex to generate a millimeter-accurate 3-dimensional LiDAR digital twin. Researchers processed this high-resolution data through pattern recognition algorithms trained to flag subtle geometrical anomalies invisible to the human eye. The algorithm identified a systematic divide in the masonry, cleanly separating the upper and lower courses of the temple's foundation platform. The upper stones display standard, easily identifiable chisel marks left by 1st century Roman builders. By contrast, the massive lower foundational blocks feature unique tool signatures that appear nowhere else in the Roman imperial record. This digital mapping suggests the Romans did not build the platform from scratch, but anchored their temple to a pre-existing monumental foundation. Focusing strictly on the western retaining wall of the podium reveals the structural anomaly known as the trilithon. This structure consists of 3 horizontally laid limestone blocks, each weighing between 800 and 1,000 metric tons. This compares a single trilithon block against the Roman Empire's most advanced heavy lifter, the polyspastos, a treadwheel crane with a 100-ton capacity. Placing a 1,000-ton block 20 feet in the air requires a lifting capacity exceeding the absolute Roman ceiling by a factor of 10. Attributing the trilithon to the Romans creates a conflict with the established laws of structural physics and material science known to classical antiquity. Standard Roman engineering practice involved carving specific indentations, called Lewis holes, into stone blocks, allowing iron keys to lock in and lift the load. A macro-level inspection of the giant trilithon blocks yields 0 Lewis holes or clant scars. Rolling blocks of this size presents its own physical barriers, as 800 tons of concentrated pressure immediately crushes organic wooden rollers into dust. The Roman administrative machine documented the logistical costs and engineering blueprints of its major public works with meticulous detail. Across thousands of surviving Roman texts and inscriptions, there is absolute silence regarding the quarrying or transportation of the trilithon stones. This lack of physical evidence, combined with a total blackout in official records, suggests the Roman role at Baalbek was that of a second-stage builder, not the original architect. Moving the investigation 1 mile away from the temple leads to the local limestone quarry, where the original construction effort halted. Embedded in the bedrock sits the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, a monolith fully shaped but never transported to the main site. This abandoned block weighs an estimated 1,200 tons, heavier than the stones successfully placed at the temple site. The presence of these monoliths indicates the megalithic foundation was not a localized Roman experiment, but an ambitious engineering project halted mid-operation by an earlier culture. The physical ground directly beneath the Roman temple courtyard contains the final piece of evidence. This cross-section diagram illustrates the earth beneath Baalbek as a tell, a layered settlement mound. Excavations here have exposed strata dating back to 2900 BCE. Pottery fragments and deep layers indicate human habitation and megalithic activity long before the first Roman legions arrived in the valley. The Romans found an abandoned ancient topfam and anchored their temples directly on top of it, using the pre-existing scale to augment their own imperial image. Modern AI and physics have stripped away the Roman facade, uncovering evidence of heavy lift logistics on a scale that contemporary history is only beginning to explain.